So listen, if you're running any ads or making any content to try and get new customers, then I want to ask you one simple question. Are those ads or content profitable enough for you to keep reinvesting into them and grow the business with them? Because for most business owners, that's simply not the case. And if you're watching this video, then you probably aren't aware of a simple funnel that allows you to understand exactly how to message the right type of prospects to make sure that you can keep reinvesting into your ads and keep growing the business with the content you're currently making. So before I get into the exact breakdown, I want to quickly cover the why behind this being so important in the first place. Because for most people, you don't just want to see the actual breakdown in detail, because that doesn't really mean anything to you unless you understand the importance behind it in the first place. So let's get right to that. So the first thing here to understand is that with any ad you're running or content you're making, it all comes down to, most importantly, who you're actually talking to in the first place, because you might have the best offer, the best message, but if you're telling it to the person that isn't ready to hear that yet, then you are burning cash on any ads you're running, and you're burning cash or losing money on any team of making content for you. Whether you're doing it yourself, you're losing time in that case too. And so this is why that is so important, because if you don't have the right message for the right person at the right stage in their journey, then you are going to burn through cash. So understanding the importance of what we're about to go through, for understanding each stage of this funnel and buyer's journey, will help you properly understand exactly who to target and when to target them, and when to give them the appropriate message for that, so that you can start running profitable ads and making money with whatever you're trying to use, content or paid ads. So without further ado, let's get into the first step of the funnel. Alright, so with stage one, we have the problem awareness stage, and we start with the problem unaware and we go to problem awareness. And this is where like over 90 to 95% of your target market currently are. Because again, most small business owners making content, running ads to potential target audiences, they're talking about solutions to problems. But most of your target market doesn't even know they have a problem yet worth solving. So you're effectively just burning cash or burning money, losing time making content or ads to people that don't even know or care to know what your solution is, because they don't even know. It's like if you sell torches to people that don't even know they're in the dark yet. You have to make people aware of the problem, that they're in the dark, before you can even sell a torch to them in the first place. And this actually comes down to like the content ratios here, which I'll get onto in just a bit, because the important thing to understand about knowing the larger parts of who your audience are comes down to actually knowing what type of content to make for what type of audiences, but we'll get onto that in a little later on. This takes us into stage two, which is once we have people aware of their problem, we're now going from awareness to solution awareness, which is into stage two now. And so with stage two, ultimately what we're trying to do here is now highlight possible solutions, but still make people aware that a lot of people don't necessarily want to immediately just be given options, because some people, naturally, it's like they want to know that they're in safe hands before they even have solutions being offered to them in the first place, especially with larger investments. But obviously, small things, it's mainly just like the kind of the dopamine hit or the reward in the moment. It's like if you are in the dark, you just want to feel that immediate safety now of, okay, I need a torch of any kind, before you start talking about features or benefits of certain torches over other torches. So in this case, it's really making people aware that there are solutions to these problems, and here are the potential solutions, but we won't immediately dive into the features and benefits yet. It's just there are solutions here, and we can start going into them when they're ready. Because ultimately, it's like if you're a doctor, right? You can't sell painkillers to someone that doesn't actually know they're in pain yet. But once they start to become aware of the pain, you can start to become the doctor and start suggesting the fact that there are solutions here. Let's first diagnose the problem in as much detail as we can, depending on the level of investment required. If it's just cheap torches or something, like you're on some sort of market stall, that's not as as high level of investment as, like, I don't know, some sort of like mortgage broker or something like that. But understanding we're going from problem awareness to solution aware is now that next stage in that journey. So now we go from basically the solution awareness to now ready to buy. And this is kind of combining stage 3 and 4 of this journey here, because once we're at this point, we now have people aware that they have a problem. We have people that are aware of solutions. We're now just getting to the point where people are nearly on the fence, basically. And obviously, this comes down to the level of investment required. If you're just selling $5 or $10 e-com products, then there isn't really a massive investment there. It's more just like, is this a trusted, reliable, credible, like drop shipping store or online retailer I can get a decent return? Even if it's a cheap item, people still want good refund and return policies. But obviously if it is a higher level of investment, like it's some sort of, I don't know, like surgery or investing thing or mortgage, whatever it might be, some sort of big investment, like a big decision that's maybe more than a few hundred or a few £1,000s or dollars, you're actually now needing to go through that journey of being on the fence with somebody and helping them come to the conclusion basically that you are the person that is ready for them. And again, this is one of the smallest stages of awareness here, because although people are aware of their problems now, they're just kind of on the fence about it. They know the problems they have in their life, they know the solutions that are there, they're just kind of, especially if it's a high level of an investment, they're just kind of looking at their options. They might be in a kind of window shopping a lot type of thing, especially people like looking to buy a house. They don't buy a house in a day or in a week unless they need to, like now they like being kicked out or something. But obviously for most people it takes months or even years to decide to finally move out and actually buy someplace new. So at this stage, I'll get onto the actual content ratio I just was talking about in stage 1, but ultimately at this point we are just really looking at like what people are looking at and actually helping them come to the conclusion of where they are in their journey, so we can finally start guiding them to the right conclusion for them. So let's actually finally go over all these individual steps here, and this brings me to the content ratios I was just talking about in stage 1, because what's most important here is that for all of these different stages, needing to know what type of message to give at that right stage is what's most important. So if you have most of your market at stage 1, 90 to 95% of your audience are there is no point giving a solution awareness message to that audience. And if you are trying to grow your ads you're trying to add more campaigns, or you're trying to reinvest in the campaigns you currently have, or you're making content, maybe organic content, trying to grow a personal brand, whatever it might be, you need to know what type of content to give to the right people at the right time, and also what type of content to make overall to grow your level of content. Because even if we are just like a small local business, we still do want to make content generally for people to be able to see outside of just our regular paid ads, but obviously depending on what you are running, it's something to talk about in both cases here. So in terms of the type of content you want to be making, there is growth content and there is nurturing content. In terms of the growth content, it's pointless talking to them about solutions, again, even though they have a problem. So talking to the 95% is what's going to give you that mass appeal, mass growth. It's going to be speaking to that 95%, almost the complete audience there. But then once you are coming down to talking about solutions, and once you are highlighting possible solutions for people, once you are talking to that smaller percentage, maybe 5 to 10% of people, even less if they're really on the fence ready to buy, you're actually finally talking to people that are nearly ready to buy, and you're actually talking about solutions, possible outcomes, and you're actually finally talking about features and benefits, and not just where the problem is and maybe where a solution lies. So ultimately, that is where that really goes into. But understanding why that content ratio is so important, otherwise, again, you're going to be burning cash on your ads. You're going to be spending hours wasted on writing those ads, creating those ads, working with a media team. If you're making content organically, spending money on that as well, and time lost not knowing, again, who you're targeting at the right point in the right time. So ultimately, I do hope all of this makes sense. I just want to kind of give you a basic understanding of why that's so important. So again, if you're running ads, just making sure that you're focused on that kind of 90 to 95% of people that aren't actually in the problem awareness stage at all yet. Again, you can't sell a torch to someone who doesn't even know they're in a dark kit. You can't sell painkillers to someone who doesn't know they even have pain yet. So you need to make people aware of their pain, that 95% of people, and then once you have that smaller minority of people, you have content around possible solutions to those problems, and then you can start guiding people to the best possible answer that hopefully will be your product or service for that. But there we go, that is ultimately the stages in the buyer's journey. Alrighty, so I hope you found this information helpful today. If you do want more, kind of deeper insights on this, maybe more catered to your situation, then I've linked a free demo call link below this video as well, and also how to actually get more customers or clients in the first place for your business. Much more kind of tactical advice in that video, kind of breaking down step by steps, loads of different marketing strategies there too. But if you have found this video helpful, please do leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.